Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Kirsten Cant taku ingoa, ko Ngāti Pākehā ahau. Kia ora friends, my name is Kirsten Cant and I'm a New Zealand-born third-generation Kiwi with English and Scottish roots. And I work for the New Zealand Church Missionary Society, NZCMS, as a mission enabler. I've lived in South Africa and India for short periods of time and have spent the last 8 years journeying alongside young New Zealanders exploring together what is mission. This class is about practices for growing as global disciples. Essentially, it's about learning to look and live outward to what God is doing in the world. It's about learning how to grow our understanding and practical rhythms to be followers of Jesus who desire God's kingdom flourishing in every person and culture. You're going to hear stories from myself and from our other hosts on their personal journeys of engaging in global mission. There'll be teaching on some important concepts of mission, as well as offering some ideas for practical ways that you can grow in being global disciples right here, right now. I don't know about you, but for me, when I think about the world, I get a bit overwhelmed at all the massive and heart-wrenching things that are going on. And I don't know about you, but so easily my world can become quite small. We get so fixed on what's going on for us and those that are closest to us that we can forget about what's going on in the big wide world out there, and we don't quite know how to engage or respond. We can get lost in the big and we can get lost in the small. God's got an invitation for all of us as followers of Jesus to continue to grow in having a global perspective and grow in finding God-centered ways to listen, learn, pray, respond, and come together for God's kingdom flourishing in every person and culture. Thanks for being with us. It's going to be gritty, fun, honest, and full of thought-provoking questions and ideas. We don't pretend to actually have all the answers as we come with this class. We're here with the questions and the ideas like you. We hope to be guides on the journey we are all on for engaging in practices for growing as global disciples. As we kick into this class, it's important to dig into this whole idea of being learners. Let's unpack the different aspects of what we're going to include and how we invite you to engage by unpacking the title of this class, Practices for Growing as Global Disciples. Firstly, practices. Alongside this teaching and theological ideas that we'll be sharing, we want this class to be practical about giving stuff a go. The goal is transformation, not just information. So we want to offer ideas of ways to engage in God's mission every day, every week, every year. Some of the things you can do on your own, some with your household, and some with your community or small group. We're going to offer ideas from eating, from listening to music, to model for reading the Bible, and even taking a digital inventory of all your subscriptions. Ooh. At the end of each module, we have suggested some ideas for practices that link to each theme, which can be a step in recentering our hearts and minds on the world and God's vision of restoration of all things. Some of these ideas are more of a one-off thing to give a go, but most of them can be woven into your life in an ongoing way. But friends, it takes practice and it takes time. So we encourage you to come up with your own ideas of practices you might like to do as well. In fact, we hope you do. So practices for growing. We are all on a learning journey. Throughout our years of training and mentoring people in their mission calling, we've found that the posture of being learners is probably one of the most necessary skills or mindsets when it comes to engaging across cultures and in our world. We've included some teaching around some key mission models that we've found transformational for us and others in learning about the world, culture, and mission. We invite you to take your time and not just listen for 10-minute videos, but to reflect with us. We're going to ask you questions, we're going to tell some stories, and we invite you to sit with these. In each module, we invite you to use this simple reflection tool from 3DM. It's 2 questions. What is God saying to me? And what am I going to do about it? So practices for growing as global disciples. It might go without saying, but we're disciples of Jesus. We are being formed by God on this journey. We follow Jesus. We are guided by the Spirit to seek God's mission calling in our lives individually, in communities, and as the church for God's kingdom flourishing in every culture in Aotearoa and around the world. There are many ways to engage and grow in being disciples with a global heart. We aren't saying we have all the answers for this. We just invite you into the questions with us. We challenge you to keep finding the practical ways to turn your attention and heart and lives outward to what God is doing in the world. Also, doing a class like this is just way more fun if you do it with a group of others. It's good to bounce the ideas off each other and share reflections. It also helps to hold one another accountable to actually do the things we say we're going to do. So this is a great opportunity to grab some of your mates together and go on this learning journey. Here's some questions to reflect and discuss as we get underway. How often within an average week do you engage with people, places, or stories from around the world? Or when you are asked to think about the world, what's the feeling or the reaction that you have? Is it hopeful? Is it overwhelmed? Does it feel irrelevant? Also, I invite you to think, what do I want to get out of this class? And over the next few weeks and months, when you are in this space, when are you going to take time to reflect, to actually do the practices that are suggested to make the most of this journey we're on together?